there, thank you all for joining today here at my first garden. Let's go walk to what we're going to be working on today. So this is what I use to fertilize my seedlings when they're starting to grow, maybe about 2 inches, and I plant them out here, and even when they're starting to bud up. So with doing some research lately, because it's getting kind of warm, and I thought these spring planted or winter sowed blooms or seeds would already be blooming by now, but for some reason there's very little activity on most of them, and I'm thinking it's due to fertilizer. I didn't fertilize them enough. So now, after reading, watching some videos, I saw that weekly is more the schedule that you're supposed to fertilize versus what I was doing was every 3 weeks. So I went out and got this one, fish fertilizer. It's a 511. Since I am new to gardening, I know these numbers mean like the amount of nutrients they have and each one stands for something, but I'm at a blank for that. But all I saw was fish fertilizer on the counter there, and I went ahead and grabbed it. I want to say luckily I knew that plants and even little plants needed to be fertilized, so I've been using this since I put it into that little planter bed about every 3 weeks. But now I'm going to start using it weekly in the hopes of seeing more activity for buds and starting to see those blooms activate. All right, let's get started. All right, so I set us up here by our seedlings, and this is the main priority of what I'm trying to fertilize in this video. So I uncapped the fish fertilizer. Be aware that it does have an odor. It does smell, and it's very strong. So if you have dogs or cats, maybe they'll really like it and want to be all upon you whenever you're starting to do this. And you need it to be kind of delicate process because you don't want to overuse it. I had to go ahead and put Aspen inside because he was already going crazy just with the smell of the bottle on the outside. With this probably like a little dribble here, he was all over it. So we're gonna open it. My paper protector here got super sogged and doesn't stick to the cap anymore. So usually, like I said, I just take the bottle into this and do a couple squirts. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, something like that. I'm not sure the measurement of that. Could probably go out and get some tablespoons that it requires, but for me it's been working so far to get some leaf growth, and I think really with doing more applications it should help with the actual bloom growth. I did bring my hose link spout out here, ran it through the side of the house and back here, so it's easier access that way. So we went ahead and got the gallon prepared. I did accidentally spill, so I'm going to try not to touch it because, like I mentioned before, it reeks, it smells. But I'll show you guys how I just pour it basically over the foliage here. If I can get to the ground where like the mulch is, I'll try to do that first. But since it's so compact at the moment, it's really just going to be like a shower of water. It's also already kind of early-ish, late-ish in the morning. Ideally, I would have done this like maybe like 6 a.m. where the sun isn't like right about to come on it, because I don't want it to actually like just the water itself and the sun. I mean, I feel like there's always a chance that the leaves could get burnt because of that. So I do try to water where there's a good 2-3 hours before the sun actually rises to this area. So I'll show you guys how I water. after I finish 1 gallon with the fertilizer, I go ahead and use another gallon of just pure water to wash off any of the excess fertilizer from the leaves. And just, you know, this is a big square footage, just to add more water while I'm at the process of fertilizing as well. But we can see right there, like one little bloom. So that's the very first one. I'll show you some buds up close later on. That's why I'm so like apprehensive and excited to get some blooms actually growing, because I already see one and I know what it looks like, at least that variety. And there's about 5 other ones that I still haven't seen any activity on. So I'm really excited and want to get these like already showing. Okay, watering number 2, just with straight water. Okay, I don't know if you can hear those birds, but they are a singing and a chirping. So after watering all of this, I did the fertilizer, then I went ahead and did another gallon of water too. So, you know, it's pretty much 18 inches of soil. I don't think 3 gallons of water would hurt anything. So right now you can see there is a ton of foliage. These are the buds that I'm seeing. These are calendula. I want to say Pacific blend or Pacific something, and then this one was like a princess mix. So an orange and reddish variety and then a yellow variety. Look, you can't even see, you can barely see the soil. That's how lush and full they are. So I'm starting to see buds here and even like multiple on one. So like this is one plant, one longer stem up there and the lower bloom coming on down here from the same plant. So that was exciting. I did not expect multiples on one. I thought it would just be one like long stem, just because my emphasis on this was to be like a cut flower planter bed. These are the ones that I have mixed up, this one and this one. I have an aster variety and a blue bachelor's button, and when I was sowing them I didn't have the tags ready just yet, those back there. So when they bloom I'll figure out what it is. And then I have 2 rows of the same carnation. So these are pretty short, they're the shortest, and I hope they're not getting like sun blocked from all of these. But from what I've seen, the sun comes from this angle first, then goes over. So it could just be that they're slow growing like this, or it could be that the sun maybe is affecting it. Let's get a closer look at the one calendula that I have right now. So all of these petals, look at all these petals. And the stem is pretty long. There's another bud coming behind. So like I mentioned before, I am very new to gardening. I would say a year. I did some like landscaping stuff just because I was eager to begin that. And then a year now looking into seedlings and seed startings and tubers for dahlias and stuff like that. But I think I did something right here. I'm starting to see a lot of buds. Nando and I built this, so we took the wood, stained it, put up these little stackers. So this is 100% us, and I'm very excited to see what we have. Now we have planter bed number 2, the exact same thing. I'm going to fill it up with the fish fertilizer, put it throughout, and then do about 2, maybe this one because it's smaller, 1 other gallon of just pure water. And there we have it, our fertilizers in an extra gallon just for some good watering. first we have here, just for some backstory, some Crispedia. I did have Liatris here initially, but the bulbs, I think I just overwatered them. It was probably not to be watered until I started to see new growth. And then the other backstory I wanted to explain was this poppies. I was so excited to see such abundance actually grow from such tiny seeds. I don't know if you've ever seen poppy seeds. I'm sure even on a bagel you can see how tiny they are. But they were so mounded together. I was like, great, I'm gonna get so many blooms. While doing more research, I saw that you're actually not supposed to let them get too like compact like that, because it could lead to them not performing later on. So I moved about 6 of these here towards the afternoon, like 5-6 o'clock. Did great. The next week I wanted to pull a little bit more, put them in our front yard, and by, that was like in the morning, by I don't know, 4 p.m. that same day they were all wilted, like dead. So I learned that lesson real quick and didn't transplant anymore in the morning. After that, these I transplanted yesterday around 7-8 p.m. so a little bit later. Gave them the night, didn't water them in until here now in the morning. So I think those will do good because these have been doing good. And then in between we have some love in a mist. But thank you all for joining today's video. Thank you for visiting my first garden, and we'll see you in the next one.